Throughout the lifetime of most modern video games, different phases are experienced. They are announced at game conventions, experience server overload on release, and most of all, they get updated regularly every 3 to 4 months or so, except for Pokemon. Pokemon doesn't get updated regularly, yeah, that's it. For Paladins, the time for updates is now. Now, all those who've uninstalled for the 4th or 5th time can come back to experience the beautiful mess of a game that we call Paladins. The Tidal Surge patch notes have been dropped, and with it comes a set of swanky new changes. There's a new game mode, Event Pass. And listen. There's one thing that I truly care about when it comes to new patches. New game modes, pass. Rank champion rotation, think again. Skins, I sleep. The balance changes that directly influence how we play. That is where the money is, my friends, where the soul of this undead zombie lives. So since we got a fixed amount of time to remain relevant with this topic, let's not waste any time and get straight into the main course. Due to how impactful they are on the game and how they can balance a lot of champions with only a few changes, it makes sense that the item store gets a bit of remodeling. Armor plating has been reduced to now give 6% main weapon DR per tier. A relatively simple change, but maybe this is all that is needed. Gotta be careful when adjusting an aspect of gameplay that affects a large amount of your player base. Can't have a situation where an item gets absolutely bodied for being a must pick since its inception. Instead, you adjust it slightly until it falls into the perfect spot, or off a cliff and into whatever messed up timeline Yagharat spawned in. Bloodbath is now changed from being a serotonin, neuron boosting, fat, juicy burst heal to just being a heal over time. Now I don't know what this accomplishes and the devs don't seem to care about it enough to mention it either, so I'll let good old Father Time be the judge of how impactful this change is. Rejuvenate now becomes a buff to the background supportive side characters that wield the heals and not the absolute weapons that were absorbing copious amounts of them juicy healing numbers. This is a change with many implications, giving support more value on AoE heals but forcing them to choose between Chronos, Rejuve, and other staple items for their builds. How do I feel about this change? Well, if I'm a Grover stuck with 300 credits, I'll be a bit indecisive, but if I'm topping the squad off with Io, then there can be no question. All hail the Kawaii.
Cassie.
Now somebody at Hi-Rez might have a body pillow or two laying around to come up with this concept. Cassie has received buffs in the recent past and ended up getting slightly reverted back to normal because she became too hot to handle. Kinda sneaking into the chicken lobbies, daring anyone to step even a centimeter past them spawn doors, terrorizing the enemy team like Kid Buu, wiping out planets on his way to obliterate the Supreme Kais. Giving her poison and freeze may once again turn Cassie mains into genuine weapons of mass destruction. Of course, you still gotta hit the abilities to make use of the buffs, but you already know Cassie players got the lineup on deck, hitting you with that mid-screen meterless Mortal Kombat 1 tutorial combo that puts you back in spawn faster than the Vector's fire rate in 90% of first-person shooters.
Caspian.
Since we're handing out modifications to the champions, might as well take the opportunity to iron out some kinks, get things nice and flat. Caspian has been through ups and downs over the months. Now is the time to get it right. Or not. They're taking away the buffs that Rogue's Tempo got from stacks of piercing or sharp momentum and are instead giving it a flat, consistent projectile speed. And Rogue's Tempo now cripples and has a reduced cooldown, which now improves with measured cadence. Overall, expect to see an increase in the number of lightly built, silky smooth redheads around town.
Corvus.
This guy's been through a lot, from somehow being tricked into summoning the Paladin's equivalent of Mr. Tumnus on the roids to getting slept by public enemy number 1 of the year 2022. The once easy decision of always choosing spreading influence has now been made into a 4D chess call between choosing more single target heals or choosing to spread the— wait a minute, Rejuve now favors multi-target healing. I guess spreading influence is still better. He also has a 5-second teleport cooldown at base with Stunning Visage, if that matters to you.
Io.
Both minor changes, moving on.
Kasumi.
First of all, she's getting the same treatment all your non-mobile, completely replaceable, totally expendable flanks get with that extra fat 100 HP. Of course, can't just be handing out buffs with no counterbalance. What do you think this is, Pokemon? Giving out form changes to the same creatures that necessitate the existence of Smogant ears? Okay, so who gets new Gigantamax forms? How about the 3 Galastars? Gonna have the gimmick on them. Alright, who's next? I reckon Charizard's a good shout. Can't go wrong with the dragon. Of course, but what if we gave it to Pokemon that need extra strength? What about Melmetal? Man's a legendary and still not in the Uber tier in Pokemon Showdown. Great point. We'll stick it to those pesky Showdown mods. Now, who's got the cease and desist orders? If the Pokemon devs balance Paladins, Kasumi'd end up with all nerfs reverted and be able to hit you through shields while still being in effective range standing on one of Jupiter's 95 officially mentioned moons. Kasumi will be having her targeting cone reduced to 4.5 units, forced to strafe aim, not daring to change the orientation of the mouse or right analog stick unless the target has the mobility of a Dragon Ball Z fight scene being observed by Master Piccolo himself.
Kinessa.
My opinion on snipers as a whole in high TTK games is that they shouldn't exist, fitting into the game design as much as a T-shaped Tetris block fits into the Mandarin alphabet. Gonna have a tough time balancing a character when they unalive 3/4 of the cost before they even have a chance to use 80% of their kit. Need that Dragon Ball Z fight scene movement just to survive long enough to even get close. They're shifting the power of Kinessa's firing mode from the sniper to the carbine while turning the sniper mode into a more quick scoping kind of weapon. On top of that, the mine's now slow, and with her new Octopressor talent they can hit all 5 enemies. Now there are champions some consider to be annoying, but Kinessa might take it to a different level. Might end up seeing this troublemaker electrifying pipe cocks and superheating doorknobs, the kind of annoying that doesn't kill you but comes damn near close.
Koga.
Yo, Dragon Stance got.
Maeve.
If you thought Kinessa was annoying enough, then you won't want to see what this somehow 18-year-old IO wannabe Tigron crossbreed has. Got that 80-20 human to Tigron ratio and as many ear jumps as an Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 character. Another instance of favoritism shown from the big guns up at high res. So which champion is in desperate need of buffs? I think Maeve could use a few improvements. You see, she just doesn't do enough damage. She has 2 damage talents and can piece from any fight if she drops below 60%. Hey, weren't you the same guy that suggested the Cassie buffs? Maybe. Cat Burglar and Rogue's Gambit now give more damage. Street Justice has seen change, though its Pounce Execute is still in the game, but only when she ults. Considering that a lot of skilled Maeve players went for Cat Burglar anyway, the Street Justice change will probably not serve to balance his character like they were intending. Well, best get the Torvald ready.
Makoa.
Went to Muscle Beach on the weights and now has the gains to show it by growing 50% larger when he ults and getting extra HP. Also borrowed Juggernaut's helmet cause the man's got 50% headshot DR to go along with his dense new muscles.
Mix.
Gotta be careful when you're buffing one of the 4 elites, Emperors of the Point. If you aren't careful, people might start playing her for the wins instead of for the other reasons. Too many Nyx players coupled with the CC immune Nara could wind up making the point tank position a done deal. Barracks pit rate in the dirt. Fernando, scorched or bust. What about Terminus? You clearly don't own a 4080, my friend.
Ceres.
So who's the worst healer in Paladins?
That'd be Ceres, of course.
So who's the best healer in Paladins? It's gotta be Ceres. A big problem with making a game that has a low skill floor and high skill ceiling is that the same character can be played in completely different ways, giving varying results. So who do the overlords of high-res listen to when it comes to their split community? Looks like the GMs finally got a hold of that Discord. The old AOC servers told the devs they'll 5-stack casual onslaught if their demands aren't met. Ceres getting changed into a burst healer with the new Forsake talent gives her more uptime on her primary to start hybriding like a Mendelian genetics experiment. And if you thought you'd seen the end of old Luminary Genos, then Internal Torment is here to torment you internally.
Sivan.
Speaking of old talents and how rage-inducing they were, public enemy number 1 from the uninstalling This Is Braindead days was almost reinstated. The web-slinging, wall-clinging, bomb-dropping assassin was about to hit the subreddit so hard, keyboards would start to spontaneously combust. Corvus minding his own business till he gets swarmed by the entire cast asking, no, begging him to tell them what he knows about 7. Most of everyone will be breathing a sigh of relief knowing that the hypermobile 3-tap machine will be stuck cycling through the firing modes instead of cycling through the hit list.
Strix.
Gotta spread the love, mate.
Terminus.
The Undead Colossus finally got nerfed, getting only 15% DR from Undying. Now mouse and keyboard players, I know what you're thinking, but you gotta understand, aim assist loves the siphon.
Torvald.
Wasn't enough that you buffed the end product of a questionable Tumblr furry fanfic, but now you nerf one of her counters to boot. Gramps might need to hit a bit more shots to compensate for the 5 damage he lost from his primary. Gonna need that gamer lean to hit the cap moving at 100 miles an hour in 5 directions at the same time, fam. Oh no, what could be worse than a furry S tier? Oh, I know. 2 furry S tiers. Patrick?
Yes, SpongeBob?
I don't think the situation could get any worse.
Nonsense!
Vaatu.
As if one hypermobile monster getting juiced with the lot wasn't terrifying enough, Hi-Rez thought it fair to buff the Instaban himself. Man's got a hold of the flying Raijin Jutsu formula and pings about like he's a piece of equipment at the Olympic finals. Don't even need the hand signs when you're Kage level. Just press a button and you're in with 3 kunai, primed and ready. Won't even have time to gasp before your life is forfeit. Though it is a minor buff to enveloping shadows, any improvement to the demigod that is Vaatu may just be enough to make him top 1 if he wasn't already.
Vora.
Congratulations, your ultimate ability is almost usable.
Willow.
Finally made it to the sleeper pick. Ever since Willow got them wings actually working, she's been an absolute menace. Area denial, say less. Anti-heal, on deck. Adding decent mobility to the mix was just enough to push her into a higher tier. So now she gets a slap to the wrist for being all too prevalent in those win rate statistics. Well, how's Willow doing with the new buff?
Hey boss, it ain't looking good. Her win rate's getting close to Mive's.
What? You know what must be done.
Already on it, boss.
And that about wraps it up for how I view the Tidal Surge balance changes. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Leave a like if you were laughing, subscribe for more and more content, and sound your voice in the comments.